Hello, everybody. Welcome back to 10-Minute Reviews. This is Freya. I'm Jason. We're bringing you today's video. Yes, we are. You got a lot of attitude there, Fluffy. And, today's video. As always, guys, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. We love to bring you guys books. We love to bring you guys authors. Really use that support. We really appreciate it. We're going to do this anyway. So, for today, I want to talk about an author I've talked about in the past. William W Johnstone. And while I'm showing you a book, Guns of the Mountain Man, I'm not going to talk about this particular book. I'm going to talk about the series as a whole, because it's one of my favorite series. I've already discovered we have a lot of Western fans on this channel, and or at least a lot of Louis L'Amour fans. Now, there is no real modern analog, I guess you could say, to Louis L'Amour, because in a way the Westerns have kind of gone out of style, just like the old 80s adventure pulp series, your Mac Bone Destroyer, CAD, stuff like that's gone out of style. But there are still some fantastic Western authors out there. Plus, there's quite a few that you may have missed in the past few decades. For instance, William W Johnstone. Now, he writes a lot of different series. The characters all, I'm not going to say they're the same, but they have a lot of similarities. But this particular series, The Mountain Man, it's the last Mountain Man series. It's his last Mountain Man series. He does have another series called The First Mountain Man that is the last Mountain Man's mentor. In this series, William W. Johnstone, this is very pulpy, very pulpy action, adventure, men's adventure, 80s style type of book. Does have some similarities to Louis L'Amour's writing style, or rather, writing style in a way. I mean, he always had the gunfighters and the gunfights and stuff like that. But I would almost more say he's more similar to maybe like your Matt Browns or your J.A. Johnstones. J.A. Johnstone would be a good one to compare him to. William W. Johnstone's last Mountain Man series. The main character, Smoke Jensen, real first name Kirby, an orphan. Actually witnesses his father die, but an orphan that's taken in by, as they were traveling to the Old West. Basically, they were homesteaders. They were trying to. His father was a war vet, Civil War vet, and they were traveling to the Old West, building a life. A fairly common thing back then in those days, and ends up being killed by, I want to say, an Indian attack possibly, and he is rescued. Kirby is rescued by the first Mountain Man, goes by the name Preacher, but first Mountain Man, the Mountain Men were around for a long time. So Smoke Jensen is raised by the Mountain Men. So in his history, as the series goes on, he ends up, when the originally these old 60, 70-year-old Mountain Men come around, they all know who Smoke Jensen is, every single one of them. So he's got this big, almost like extended family in a way. But Smoke Jensen is almost a larger-than-life, well, not almost, he is a larger-than-life character. Absolutely, massively larger-than-life character. He is basically, as far as the series goes, he is considered the fastest gunfighter in the West by a fairly wide margin. He is pretty much an unbeatable hand-to-hand fighter, and as a Mountain Man is basically an unparalleled tracker and survivalist in the woods, at least. Hunter, so on and so forth. So, the series kind of covers a whole lot of ground in this time frame of this character, from starting as the adopted or orphan, and then kind of, I don't want to say adopted, because Preacher didn't really adopt him, but kind of took him under his wing, raised him, taught him, cared for him, while of course didn't let him be a weakling. He trained him as a Mountain Man as well, and as a warrior, as a fighter. He's lived with Indians, he's fought Indians, he's hunted, he's trapped, he's traveled, he's seen it all, kind of thing, and he's looking for revenge. So of course he ends up being a great gunfighter, and he ends up going after revenge for the, oh that's right, his father was not killed by Indians, was like betrayed or something along those lines, but ends up going after most of those men and catching most of them. Ends up meeting his wife, who's a highly educated banker. He ends up buying a ranch, but trouble just seems to follow Smoke Jensen. Otherwise, it'd be a really boring series, because there's a ton of books in this series. One of my only issues with this series is, I know William W. Johnstone does collaborate with J.A. Johnstone a lot. Some of the books say both of them, and now a lot of them just say J. Johnstone, by J. Johnstone, William W. Johnstone's character by J. Johnstone. It does feel at times with some of his longest running series, the Last Mountain Man and his Ashes series, that either he has guest writers or ghost authors, or they've gotten so big for him and he's writing so many different series that he loses track. It does feel like that at times, because from one book to the next, the side characters, never Smoke Jensen, but side characters can drastically change in their skills, their abilities, their backgrounds, and especially their personalities. So that's my only knock on the character. But the main character, Smoke Jensen, a ton of fun. Yeah, I'm not going to say he's an awesome character, but he's a ton of fun. He's extremely intelligent. Basically, he's just, as far as the Mountain Men, Old West go, he's just, he's perfect. Again, unbeatable in hand-to-hand combat, unbeatable in a gunfight, unbeatable in woods, unbeatable. He's unbeatable. And yet people always tick him off. Either messing with his friends, messing with his family, messing with his employees that he considers his family. But he is always getting drawn into things. Now, there's a lot of really cool side characters. Louis Lamont, who's a super rich businessman that also happens to be an adventurer and gunfighter. You've got Charlie Starr, it's almost like the Wyatt Earp analog in a way. He's an older gunfighter, old sheriff, such like that legendary character. You've got Johnny North, who's a big gunfighter that ends up retiring and living near Smoke, and then two of his ranch hands, Pearlie and Cal, pretty top-notch gunfighters. Those two particularly change a lot book to book as far as their personalities go and their skill sets go and their backgrounds go. But again, overall, it's a ton of fun. So if you guys like westerns, if you like Louis L'Amour, if you like Matt Brown, then you would definitely like William W. Johnstone's Last Mountain Man series. He's got a ton of series. Last Mountain Man, First Mountain Man. He's got the McAllister series, which I think is the Eagles series. All phenomenal. All absolutely phenomenal. The Last Mountain Man one is just the longest running one. It's the one I have almost every single book of. As far as westerns go, as Ashes, I've got all those as well. And again, phenomenal. So if you like westerns, go check it out. I know we have a lot of westerns fans on here. Go check out a couple of William W. Johnstone's Last Mountain Man books. I strongly encourage you to look for the older ones. Go up on Amazon. Look for some of the original ones. The newer ones, guest writers, I think Johnstone passed away. Guest writers or ghost writers or just other authors writing within the series. Still great books, but it's not the same. It's not even close to the same. So again, go check out his earlier stuff. His earlier stuff for The Last Mountain Man. Absolutely phenomenal. Thank you everybody for watching. We will catch you guys next time. Bye!